Good morning. Welcome to What Up Sunday Morning with Phyllis and Lee. For the new viewers, Phyllis is camera shy, and all you'll do is hear her voice. So, good morning, Phyllis. What's the Bible verse for this morning?
Revelations 21:4. And God will wipe away every tear from your eyes, and death shall not be no more. Neither shall there be mourning, nor crying, nor pain anymore, for the former things have passed away.
Now, what does that mean to you?
I believe once you transition or die, things of the world that we left behind should not be no more. It's like you have transitioned with God, and those things should be in the past, but not in the future.
So, Phyllis, so what do you tell people, Phyllis, when they lose a loved one, Phyllis, and they been mourning for over a month? How do you give them comfort to help them find closure?
Well, to me, everybody mourning process is different. Some people it might take longer than others, uh, but I do tell people focus on the good times versus anything bad, because the good should outweigh the bad. So if you focus on the good time, the you'll miss them, but it won't be so hurtful.
So, Phyllis, I know you said it, and I've heard people say all the time that everybody's mourning process is totally different, and I do believe that. But I do feel in my heart, just me just speaking. Um, Sometimes I believe that you mourn for years. I believe that there was no closure. I believe that that person has regrets on something that they didn't tell the loved one before the loved one transitioned on.
Exactly, I do agree with that.
So, with that being said, though, fellas, so we know God. If you believe in God like you say you do, we've been made endure for a night, but in the morning, they said right, there's joy, right? So when they say a night, they're talking about like one night. I know it's a process of people to try to grab a hold of and stuff, and sometimes I believe that we can become our own worst enemy by I think my niece Shay told me that I think the terminology for the word for the broken heart. She said, Uncle Lee, that's true about a broken heart. You can weep so long that you weaken your heart muscles and you also perish. So what you guys say about that, fellas? About weeping so long, because we know God. With God, there has to be a time period. Cause now you know good to the rest of your family.
Well, the only thing I can say, Lee, just pray for your family member and for them to come out of that weeping and mourning stages of when they're going through a long mourning process, because I do think there's a time frame on it, but that's why you should hit it before. That's why when you see turmoil, that's why when you see friction in families, tell them correct it, because like you said, you only when you lay down mad and you get up and that person gone, yeah, you gonna hold on to that last thing. And if that last thing is negative that you encounter, yes, that's when that guilt, that resentment, that regret for all that comes into play with that mourning.
So that's why when people hear preachers preach on homegoings, and people get up and give their testimonies about their loved ones, and we've often said ourselves, I've even said that the homegoing is not for the dead. The homegoing is for the living, so you can get your stuff together, so you can bridge those gaps and become closer. Because when you have regrets, I do believe regrets will drive you crazy. That's just my take on that. But how do you tell someone feeling to find closure? But you still can find closure if you didn't tell your loved one, hey, I apologize for blah 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 blah. But how can you go to someone and tell them, hey, you got to snap out of it. You know good for the rest of your family.
Well, the first thing I ask them, you say you know Jesus. That's the first thing. Put it in God's hand. And whenever you put anything in God's hand, you need to leave it with Him, because He will bring you peace. Because if you, God, God is everything. He's the beginning and the end. Things we do, we know we have no business doing, and we repeat offenders. He give us grace and mercy. So you know if he gives you grace and mercy for all your fudges, he will give you peace in a time when your loved one is gone.
But you know, when God give you peace, it's a different kind of peace, ain't it?
It is. It's like a heavy weight that been lifted up off of you. And you know when it's come from God. That's why I tell people, you know when things come from God. But also I tell people, you have to accept God's will too. Because there are doors that do open. There are doors that don't open. We might not know the reason behind the doors that don't open because we see it in the flesh. But baby, Papa God see things way beyond that we can even imagine. So that's why I say, when you have done your steps, your process, all that you can do, give that issue, give that thing, that problem, whatever it is, whatever you want to describe it, give it to him. But don't take it back. Learn to leave it with him. That's why you read the word, you meditate on the word, and get to know the word. The word is God. And when you do that, you know when things of God. That's discernment will come on you where you know, hey, I know they ain't from God. You can identify when things attack you, when things come to you. You can identify to know when it's from God and when it's not from God.
No, and you are exactly right, Philip. Because I know I worked in a place one day, and the lady said, I heard a lady talking to another lady, the co-workers now, and they was cool with each other. And she said, Lee, Mr. Lee, I had to tell her that because that was from God. I said, that was what you said wasn't from God. That was from you. Because I can understand God messages. That was your message to her, trying to get back at her and trying to use God as your scapegoat. So people, Philip, I know for a fact that you have encountered people like that before. So what do you actually tell what do you tell a friend
What?
about having closure with the death of a loved one?
If the closure is an ongoing mourning process, my thing to them is go to God and ask for forgiveness for ever what has transpired between you and that loved one before that loved one transition. Because there had to be something there that was negative, or something that you didn't do, or some ugly action that went down for you to hold on to that loved one like that. Because one thing I do know, when you love somebody and you see them suffering, if you love them, you're willing to let them go so they can be with God and be at peace. Because he's telling you in his word, there will be no more suffering, no more pain. And that's why I say, read the word. Tell them, read the word. The word is of God. And that the word should bring you comfort. And that's why I said, when you read the word, you meditate on the word, you begin a relationship with God. Because no matter what you're going through, when you standing, and you still standing after the trials and tribulation, you know there ain't nothing but God that keep you ain't keeping yourself standing.
So, fellas, can you get the viewers and listeners something to carry the rest of the week?
Read the word for yourself. And when you, because I said, like I repeated this several times during this conversation, the word is God. When you read the word for yourself, you meditate on that word, you're building a relationship with Papa God. And therefore, anybody cannot bring you mess. You will be able to identify anything that's not of God because of you knowing the word.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. Thank you once again for listening to What If Sunday Morning with Phyllis and Lee. We want y'all to know that no matter what you're going through, we can guarantee you one thing. It's going to be okay. As long as you make God a part of your life. Have a blessed day. And please find time and make time to tell God thank you.